Hello, it's me. Hey y'all, I am introducing you to a more spiritual side of me. And on this side, I'm going to talk about the things I know on the spiritual plane that you may not be aware of. I'm not going to act like I'm the most spiritual person that there is because I'm still learning and growing. But what I do know, I'm going to share it with you. So hold on and hang on, and I'm going to let you know what I know. Spiritualista segments, episode 4. On this particular episode, what we're going to talk about today is going to be the topic of mirrors are portals. And I'm not going to read for you word for word each thing that I'm going to put here to describe what historically makes mirrors portals. So you can pause to read. I'll just give you like a brief synopsis of what's going to appear on the screen. It's basically just a historical and mythological view of portals. There are thresholds between the physical, spiritual, and alternate realities. It started in the Maya culture, and it says the mirror serves as gateways for communication with gods and windows to the afterlife. And they're often tools for scrying and things of that sort. And they believe they are spiritual gateways. In many traditions, mirrors are considered tools that bridge the gap between ordinary and non-ordinary realities, acting as conduits for energy. They use mirror and water surfaces to engage with gods. The superstitions, mirrors are sometimes covered to prevent souls from becoming trapped. Like after death, they say cover mirrors when people pass away to keep their souls from being trapped. That's one of the things that I've heard. I've never done that. That's not something I practice, but they that is something that they practice, have been practicing throughout history. They say that mirrors can act as doorways. So also, they have the tradition of people who practice the Bloody Mary. I've never done it and never plan to. I feel like it invokes something that is not of this world and not very good. Excuse me. And so, it's not something I'm going to be doing. I've had personal experiences with mirrors, and here's my experience. As a teenager, I had a mirror that was facing my bed, and I slept like that for years. I never had any horrible experiences. And even though I say my third eye is not open, it wasn't until I was spiritually aware of things and had a greater knowledge of things that I had terrible experiences with mirrors facing my bed. And, and I realized I just cannot sleep that way, and I will not sleep that way. When I came to Orlando, I remember one day, I was home by myself. My siblings were gone and my daughter was gone. And I was sleeping and I had 3 back-to-back awful nightmares. And I was like, wait a minute, what is going on? I was like, what type of energy is here? I don't sense or feel anything bad. I don't understand what is happening. Why am I having such a terrible time right now? I looked over on the dresser, right next to the bed where I was sleeping, on the nightstand. And there was a jewelry box, kind of jewelry stand my sister had. And the mirror was looking directly at me. And I looked where it was positioned and where I would lay my head. That's where the mirror was facing. So that little tiny mirror that was facing me was causing me to have horrible, horrible nightmares. I don't know if anything was coming through that portal, but whatever was happening, it was causing me to have nightmares. And I know that was the exact cause of it. Because as soon as I moved that mirror away, I haven't had an issue since. I have not had an issue since. The dreams were so bad that my parents were in the dreams and we were in a car that was driving recklessly, and neither one of my parents were driving, but they were in the car with me, and I could tell it wasn't really my parents. Like, they weren't saying anything, they weren't talking. They were just so stoic and stiff, and they weren't even looking at me, but it wasn't my parents, if it makes sense. Like, it was like they were like mimicking my parents or something. And I'm like, And it's like I teleported myself out of those scenarios with them, right? But it's like, as soon as I did that, I was back in the car with I was in the car with my dad. Then I was in the car with my mom. And I'm like, and I teleported myself out of those dreams as soon as I were having them because they were so lucid. I was like, nope, not my mom. Nope, not my dad. And then it's like I had another dream that I can't remember how that dream. It was so bad. It was like 3 back-to-back dreams. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And I looked and it was the mirror. And I'm just like a big advocate of I'm not freaking sleeping with mirrors in the bed or facing my bed or where my bed could be seen from that mirror. No way. Never doing that again. And I have directed my daughter not to do it either. I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it. And I just tell people, just don't do it. And I don't practice doing that. I don't like that. I don't want that. And I would not have one that is facing my bed. I just feel like it in every way possible, it's a portal. I mean, it's nothing wrong to me with having them in your home. Of course, you use them as a reflection to see yourself. But sleeping, when you're in your most vulnerable state, and having a mirror just there as a portal and just looking at you when you're in your most vulnerable state is an absolute freaking no. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just put that mirror someplace else. If you have a dresser with a bureau with a mirror attached to it, set that mirror to point someplace else. Don't do it. Don't be doing all this crazy, freaky stuff with your mate and have mirrors above your bed and all this stuff, and you want to watch yourself and you going to sleep like that. Don't do that. Don't do it. I'm telling you, it's bad news. I would never do it. Not to go to sleep and not to be sleeping like that and have that in my room like that. I wouldn't do it. So my advice to you is pause to read why those traditions are like that. Google it yourself to see why they say mirrors are portals, and just don't do it, bro. Don't. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, y'all. Love y'all.